I actually polled my community and asked them, what question they would ask you. And I have a friend, Lori Sala, her and her husband, Boyan, invest in a lot of different types of properties, but they just bought their first vacation rental. And they were curious, it kind of is along the lines of what you're talking about. What today is the right mix for people to be in, like the perfect portfolio, do you think, based on all that's going on with the economic environment?
Well, real estate is, you have to start big picture, macro,
Okay.
understand what's going on macro. But when you look at macro of the United States, the great migration is on, right? People are moving out of the Communist Republic of California, and they're moving out of New York and things like that. So that affects real estate. So most of my rental properties, I just closed on a property in Austin, Texas. I look like Jesus right now. But everybody could see Austin booming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Tesla moved in there. So real estate is always jobs. And then the laws. So Arizona and Texas and Florida are very pro-landlord. California, Hawaii, New York, anti-landlord. So I don't go there. I mean, I don't go where I'm not appreciated. I do have a property in Hawaii and stuff like that, but I don't invest there. So you got to look at the migrations. But I think the biggest thing to understand is that in 1913, the Fed was created. The Fed was ordained by Marx. People don't know that. It's a Marxist organization. The Fed is the third central bank. It's as federal as Federal Express. If you understand that it's a Marxist organization, and then in 1913, the same year, the IRS was created. Okay, in America, I know they have the 1619 project now about how America was a slave nation. Well, the truth is America was founded in 1773 at the Boston Tea Party, right? And that was said, screw you, we're a tax-free nation. So what happened in 1913, the Fed was created, and George Washington never started a Fed. Jefferson said, don't start a Fed. Jackson said, don't start a Fed, a central bank. But Lenin says, start a bank. And then Marx also says, you want to kill capitalism, it has to be through taxation and debauching the currency. So in 1971, when I was flying in Vietnam, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. I went, oh my God, there it is. So they debauched the dollar. We already had taxes in here. The Fed was installed. So why I became a real estate investor, I got off the plane in 73. I was asked to leave the Marine Corps in 74. I got for it. I just did silly things like take women for joyrides in my helicopter.
They frown on that, right?
Marines having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no sense of humor on that one. But anyway, so I figured, what am I going to do with my life? And my poor dad kept saying, go fly for Hawaiian or United, or get your PhD. And neither was attractive to me. So I went to see my rich dad, and he said, and he owned the Hyatt Regency in Waikiki. So if you go to Waikiki now, you go to the Waikiki Beach, that Hyatt Regency, he owns all the land of it. He doesn't own the building, he owns all the land. Okay, but he was working his plan. He was playing Monopoly. You know what I mean? But he was playing a long-term game. He doesn't sell, he just keeps working the plan. So anyway, he said, if you're going to be rich, you have to understand real estate. And so in 1973, while I was still flying for the Marine Corps under house arrest for misappropriation of government vehicle, I had time to take a real estate course. So I went and took this real estate course, and the guy taught me how to buy with nothing. I went, holy mackerel. But it fit everything my rich dad had taught to me. He says in 1971, the dollar became debt. When Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, the dollar became debt, an IOU. And it had to have taxes paid by this taxpayer to pay it back. So the taxpayers were financing the rich. So my rich dad says to me, he says, you get the message? I said, I got the message. So I had to learn real estate to learn how to invest with debt and pay no tax. So when I speak to guys your age, it says, look at the big picture. Freedom is found by using debt, which happened in 71, which Lenin said was essential for debauching capitalism. And don't pay taxes, which Marx said was essential in destroying capitalism. So if you get the bigger picture, all of this is in my book, Manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, the person who proofread the book won't work for me anymore.
They won't work for you because of the concepts in the book?
It pissed her off.
I see.
I mean, you know, just as Rich Dad, Poor Dad pissed the peasants off by saying your house is not an asset. They said, what do you mean my house is not an asset?
Yeah. Yeah.
Savers are losers. What do you mean savers are losers? Well, they didn't have the big picture.
Yeah.
Why would you save money when the Fed can print it?
Right.
That makes sense to me. So
Yeah.
debt and paying no taxes made sense to me. So when I talk to young guys in real estate, just know you're fighting for capitalism.
So real estate, you would still say, I mean, that you think that's the right asset to be in at this point?
No, it's actually, I say this, my rich elephant said to me, there was 1 million ways to financial heaven and 5 billion ways to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most people are going to financial hell, as you know. My generation, the baby boomer generation, is hosed. We're toast. I mean, our pensions are depleted, their 401ks are a joke. The stock market has no correlation between the economy and the biggest, and it's the biggest, second biggest bubble in history. And all these boomers are waiting for their 401k.